HAVIN, bringing unity to the community.
We want
Awesome.
to touch on a few things, just to understand the dating aspect. Part of this is where do you meet people, and we're going to talk about that. Some people meet people online, some people meet them through dating apps, some people meet people in places where they go physically. Let's do a show of hands or unmute. Where do you meet people at? See if we can do
Right.
this without being too crazy here.
Yeah. Does anybody want to just kind of throw out there where they meet people? We know that it is different for us, right, as blind people. So maybe some of us might not have all of the opportunities to meet people the traditional way. So does anybody have ways that they meet people?
Victoria, this is Candace, and I think one way that a lot of blind people meet is at conventions.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's so true. Right. Thank you, Candace, and hello.
Hello.
This is Thomas. I've met people at I've met people at conventions too.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also met people at like on MetroLift or at
Ooh,
community things like at the lighthouse. Um, you know,
yes, good ones. Yes, thank you, Thomas. That is so true. Now that you said that, Thomas, I think about how many times I've met people and sparked up conversations with people on my long 2.5 hour ride, right? So, does anybody else have some ways that they may meet people?
Yes. In Houston, and I met people at church.
Church, yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. Thank you.
To Ted.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Ted. Oh,
Going to live concerts and other venues like that, open mic night and things like that,
yes, nice.
Ted,
karaoke and whatever.
you
Yes.
going to a concert today?
I am. In fact, I'm not going to be in the meeting too long because I am leaving to go to Warehouse Live Midtown on Travis Street here in Houston to go see LA Guns and Tom Kiefer Band, the former lead
Nice.
singer of Cinderella.
Absolutely,
Nice. Well, then, Ted, I think
80s
you're
hair
excused
bands.
then. Yeah, you're excused then. We won't hold that against you. You have a great reason. Thank
Cool.
you. All right, Sailor, I heard, did you want to give? Where do you meet people, Sailor?
Oh, well, I've met people at church. I'm very thankful that my young adult, I would say young adult to young at heart adult church group is back in the Woodlands. I'm hoping to meet people there.
Nice.
Um,
Yes.
I've tried online dating and I'm done with it.
Okay. All right.
I get ghosted as I said in the last workshop. It hasn't helped me at all.
Okay. Well, you know what? That is common for some, but there has been success from some. But you know what, Sailor? You just created the perfect segue into the first segment of our presentation. And that actually is um, digital apps versus everyday spaces. And that is going to be taken on. Um, is that taken on by Ron?
Yep.
Yep,
I got
Ron,
this.
go ahead.
All right.
Yes,
So,
Ron, take it away.
I know we talked last time and we mentioned possible apps specifically for the blind or for people with disabilities in general. And they exist, but there's good and bad with that. But I'm going to talk about these as well as the general dating apps like Tinder, Hinge, or whatever. Dateability. This was one made for general disabilities. It's nothing blindness specific or low vision or vision loss, but it's people with disabilities. So if you want to look to date someone or meet people with disabilities, this is one that's there. But it's really not hit big general mass because the audience is limited. It's going to be a focused audience. So your people you meet will be uh, less than some more common ground here. And I think the common ground is common bonds is what you're looking for when you're trying to meet people, someone you're interested in. There's a legacy website, visually impaired singles, but you know what this comes down to. You know, if you want a relationship that's online or over the phone, yeah, you could maybe do that. But meeting up locally, you're limiting the audience even more because you're focusing just in this area. Just low user volume. And if they update their software, guess what that does to your screen reader so often? Breaks. So there's that accessibility problem. You know, Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, Tinder and Bumble, they rely almost entirely on visual, spatial swiping dynamics. They've improved some of their button labeling, but what about the photos? Because there's photos and pictures and you know alt text. Probably not going to find that there. You know, so if people are using Bumble or Tinder, a lot of times what they're doing is just, pardon the pun, but blindly swiping on profiles and saying, yeah, okay, I'll take a chance here. Or they have someone cited help them say, oh yeah, he's decent looking, or yeah, she's kind of hot, but you know, you're depending on someone else's interpretation of what attractive is. So
Yeah, I'll admit it. I don't care for the photos. I just do
Yeah.
swipe on them and just.
Yeah.
They
So
tell me it's fun.
Sailor, hold on, hon. We're gonna get your feedback when it's time. Okay, we're gonna make sure we go through the presentations and then we'll have time for discussion. Okay.
there will be time. And Hinge is one that is more popular with the blindness community because there's voice prompts. You get to hear someone's voice and personality, and as well as that's how you can present yourself is through a voice. What you know, you put your voice prompt there, so you get to put yourself out there, just who you are. You can even answer short audio clips of answering questions on there. So you get to know their interests and hear more of their personality and their voice. So besides apps, we get into social media, which I know there's a lot of people. I've met a lot of people in social media. And I'm going to pass this on to Naomi because she's going to discuss the because after we talk about the Facebook, we'll pick up questions for the virtual aspect here because I think it all comes together here. So, Naomi?
Hi. Well, as far as social media goes, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm trying to drink some water. I'm dehydrated over here. I'm so sorry, Ron.
Did you know that Facebook is often cited as one of the most used ways for blind people to meet others?
I knew that. Did y'all know that?
And the accessibility has really come a long way with Facebook as well, by the way. I'm trying to get.
Sorry, I'm having issues. Sorry. Can y'all?
Yeah, I got you here. I'm going to pick up on this. You know, with Facebook, you know, it's built into the Meta ecosystem. It's free. You know, compare that to, I guess, the dating apps you subscribe, you pay a monthly subscription to, or you know, like the other places, the other websites. Oh gosh, there used to be dating websites. I'm drawing a blank on those. I celebrated my 27th wedding anniversary yesterday, so I don't use
Oh, eHarmony is
these
one of like eHarmony. Remember
eHarmony.
that
Thank you.
one?
That's
Yeah,
exactly the one I was trying to
right.
think
I
of.
could,
Yes.
yeah, that's the only thing that
Yeah.
popped in my head. Yeah,
Yeah. But
eHarmony.
there's a monthly subscription, so Facebook is free and it's accessible, especially in the app. You can connect with people there. And there's also specialized groups on Facebook for blind and visually impaired dating and relationships. Um, some of the groups have even mainstream groups out there. They have specific dating days or something where you can post about looking for dates, looking to meet people. One of the big downsides, especially if you go into some of these posts where people dictate and do not proofread, they you get some garbled text or incorrect things, and sometimes some shocking words that pop up. So, um,
Yeah.
so I know Facebook has improved some on their photo descriptions, but now you still have to do a lot of extra work to get full visual description using AI, like Be My Eyes or something to describe your photos to you on social media. Um, and there's a high volume of people.
Right.
So,
I also want to just point out one thing about even with the apps and with Facebook, we do have to, when things are free, it's almost, you're dealing with could be a lot. I mean, it's free, right? So there's a lot of people that are creating apps and, might not be as serious about dating or, it's just, I think it's just more beware with the free apps, right? I think that was one of the things that eHarmony, if you guys remember that when it first came around years ago, one of their points was that because we charge, we kind of get people that are serious about dating and really wanting to find somebody. And so just be careful with these free sites and the free things that you do because everybody is creating those same free accounts that you are. So, all right. So with that, let's go ahead and we can now open it up for some discussions or questions. And does anybody have any insight about either social media, the apps? Well, I would like to start. Has anybody ever had success with any of those, and maybe you might not be in a relationship with that person at this time, but has anybody ever met anybody, a friend or anybody on those sites? And Candace, I see your hand is raised, so you want to go ahead with your comment or question?
Make a comment, Ron, in regards to the alt text. I was just going to say that with the dating apps, if they don't have alt text attached to those photos, what you may be able to do is either use Be My Eyes or Ira to describe those photos.
Right. Yeah. And it would be good to use Be My, and we're not talking the AI where you run the photo through. Like you can
just call Be
actually
My
call,
Eyes. Call volunteer.
and that way you can find out what you want to know about that picture because
But
when
also, if you have the meta glasses,
mm-hmm.
you may be able to actually take a photo from that app and have it described.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and with the meta glasses, because it's AI, it's all in follow-up question. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Give me more details, right?
Describe their hair.
Exactly. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Candace. Does
Good
anybody
having
else?
you here, Candace.
Yes. Does anybody else have any comments or feedback, or has anybody have success?
Yeah,
Okay. Go. Is
Taylor, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Taylor.
Well, I really haven't had success on online dating, but I mean, like I said, I met one lady back in 2020, July 2020. Her name was Megan. I met her on Hinge actually. We did talk. We set up a coffee date at Starbucks. We did go out. We did talk a little bit. She said the next day, she said, "Taylor, you're such a lovely person. but it's just not going to work out. I mean,
Okay.
she didn't give any reasons why, but since then I've really never had any other success. But
All right.
like I
Okay.
said, it's
Well,
not for everyone, online dating, but
yeah.
I'm not gonna give up hope. That's
You
why I'm here at this workshop.
You should not. Thank you. Thank you, Sailor, for sharing that. And, remember, this is one thing that I always say, there is somebody for everybody, right? And so sometimes we meet people and that person, that might not be the one, and that's okay. But I'm glad you're not giving up hope because that person is out there. Thank you again. Do we have any other hand
We
raised?
got a couple.
All right, let's go.
Dan, you got your hand raised?
Okay, you guys mentioned apparently it's an app where people can put out voice clips and you can respond
Right,
with
that was
voice. What
Hinge.
was the name? What was the name of that app?
Hinge.
Hinge. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
one Sailor was just talking about too. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Anybody else?
This is Ted.
Go ahead, Ted.
Yes. A couple of years ago, when my wife passed away, I did try to use that dating tab on Facebook and had all kinds of trouble getting it set up on my own. And I did have to ask a friend to help set it up. And it didn't seem like it was all that accessible to me 2 years ago. And I gave up on it. I quit it and just left it be.
Yeah.
However, I have had a friend, and again, as in the last workshop, she'll remain anonymous, but and she's not on the call today because she's half across the planet. But I've been speaking with her through WhatsApp. Now today will be 5 months,
Nice.
and but she's a very nice lady. I enjoy her company, and it's of course strictly over the phone or over WhatsApp
Mm-hmm.
because of the 8,000 miles difference.
Right.
But
Yeah.
bearing that in mind, that she sent me a friend request, I accepted, but then again, I accept all kinds of things on Facebook and then sometimes regret it because there's so many bots out there and so many scams out there. Buyer beware, even if it is free.
Right.
So that,
Yeah. Thank
even a I forget how the saying goes. A blind squirrel gets an acorn every once in a while.
Yeah.
And then
Thank
there
you.
is another thing that that Ron, I don't think, mentioned when he was going through the list of apps and websites. I only know this because my friend Mike Laser had told me about it. I never subscribed because it was too expensive for me. But it's datingfordisabled.com. Dating and the number 4disabled.com. I never
Awesome.
I never subscribed because it was too expensive and I can't afford it. But
Awesome.
it's
Well,
out
thank
there.
you for
Thank
sharing
you.
that, Ted.
Thank you for sharing. Yes.
'Cause like
And-
I say, I hadn't been on the dating scene, but when I was doing my
Yeah.
research, I didn't find that. But thank you, because that's
Right.
specifically focused one with the
Right.
call stuff.
Yeah. And
We have two other raised hands, Delphina, and after that, there's one with the I
I think I saw Aaron. Was there Aaron?
Bridget has her hand raised as well.
Okay.
Delphina.
Yeah, then Bridget. Delphina, do you have a comment? Oh, okay. So Bridget, do you want to go ahead and go, and we'll come back to Delphina?
Sure. This is Bridget from Atlanta, Georgia. I just find the dating apps so very difficult to use. Even the Facebook dating app, it just was not. I couldn't seem to understand what was going on from one moment to the next, and then
Yeah.
when it'll tell you that you have a match, and I don't know, I could never find it. And that's been my experience with the other dating apps. They just don't seem to be they're not accessible. And so I can agree with the last speaker. You get frustrated with it and you just stop. That's been
Yeah.
my experience.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what I call that, Bridget? They're busy. I just say those apps are very busy. There's a lot
Mm,
going on,
mm-hmm,
and and by the time you figure one thing out, now you're moving all around. You got to find this and find that. So yeah,
mm-hmm,
I agree.
mm-hmm,
Um, and Facebook and Ted said 2 years ago, and 2 years ago, Facebook it was even worse because it
mm.
has gotten better in the 2 years. So, but thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
All right, is Delphina available, or is there
Yes,
another? Okay, go ahead, Delphina.
uh, it's Duffina.
Oh, Delphina, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Um, I currently use the app Coffee Meets Bagel,
I've
and it's
never heard of that one. Nice.
And what's it called?
Coffee Meets Bagel.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, it's very accessible with voiceover.
Hmm.
I haven't tested anything with JAWS because I'm currently just learning JAWS. So,
Hmm.
but it's very accessible. It's very easy to understand and follow. As far as the pictures are concerned, um, you can't download the pictures to your phone, but what you can do is take a screenshot. So I take a screenshot and I send it to my aunt, or
Nice.
one of my friends.
Hmm.
Um, I've had a lot of success on Coffee Meets Bagel. Um, I guess it feels like a lot of success for me because um I hadn't really dated in like 2 years, and this year I've been on dates with 4 different guys.
Nice. Okay.
So,
Well, there you
What what
go.
what? How big a city do you live in? Do you
well,
live
I
here in
live in,
Houston?
sorry, I'm from Atlanta.
Okay, Atlanta. Okay,
Hmm.
cool.
So,
Nice.
the first guy I went out with, we actually went out on 3 dates, and I decided that we weren't compatible.
Great.
Um, so I'm not just like accepting anybody who accepts me.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
I'm vetting.
actually, we have a whole segment that is dedicated just for that. So you hold that thought and we will bring
There's
that
more
up
to
because
come.
that's a
Okay.
whole segment. We tell you
Okay.
that's very important, right?
Okay.
Um,
So well, I'll just stick to the apps then. I did for Coffee Meets Bagel, my best friend did set it up for me, and I told him what I wanted. And then once I started using the app, I figured out how to change all the answers and fill out all the things myself. And then I used ChatGPT to help me like maximize my answers.
right. Yeah.
And I feel like my profile's perfect,
Awesome.
as long as he picked out great pictures.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
I did start on Hinge, and I'm trying to figure it out. It does seem, like you said, busy,
yeah.
but I have had a lot of success on Coffee Meets Bagel, and I enjoy using it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Delphina.
Yeah, and you guys know the other thing too that I do want to point out. So we talked about apps, we talked about social Facebook, right? But there are also other apps that they are maybe, I mean, not specifically for dating, but some of the other ones, the one that I was talking about when I could is Clubhouse. I don't know why I couldn't
Clubhouse.
think of
Yeah.
it would not come to my head. I was just on it last night. But things like Clubhouse, they have now what I like about this, they do have houses and clubs and different things that are for singles and datings and a lot of blind rooms that houses that are specifically for blind people. So they may not be specifically for dating, but there are great ways to meet people, right? I think Discord has another, am I saying that right? Because I like Discord. They have a platform that people go on and they have certain interests that are out there. So those are other ways to meet people that share common interests, but are kind of like online, virtually, right? So, um, all right. I don't know if we had any other questions or we want to move on.
Aaron is
Oh,
still.
Aaron's back. Yep, Aaron. I'm sorry, Aaron.
Oh, so I know I showed up late for the meeting, but I have no experience with the app. So which app, if I want to in the future, do you recommend first that's easy and that's free? And can you type like what personalities and what interests of people you want? Or I'm just wondering.
So, there are different apps that will allow, different things in your profiles, right? I think pretty much most apps will say, okay, what are you looking for type of thing. I personally have not used a dating app. I've only used the clubhouse rooms and met people that way. But Hinge, from what this conversation has been going, Hinge sounds like it is somewhat usable for voiceover and screen readers. And then was it Coffee Meets?
Coffee Meets Bagel.
Hey, Coffee Meets Bagel sounds like that
Yeah.
is
Sounds like
an
that's
accessible.
accessible.
You get it on
Yeah.
your phone or the computer? Your iPhone or computer? Coffee Meets Bagel and Hinge.
She looks like they're on the phone. I know Hinge, they're both apps, so you can download those apps on your phone. Yeah. So, yeah, but and in a little bit, we are going to have times to kind of share resources, and we will actually send out in a follow-up email. We can send out some links to these specific apps that we're discussing as well, right, Ron? All right. So is there any other hands raised before we go to our next?
I'm guessing Bridget is iPhone.
Is that you, Bridget? Yeah, because she said she had her hand raised, so that must have been her.
That's the only one we got. Okay.
All right. All
Yes,
right.
that is me. That
Okay,
was me.
perfect. Okay, awesome. So,
All right.
so we talked about this, we talked about the virtual aspect, we talked about the online datings and things, right? So we're going to take it to the next level. And we mentioned this in the beginning when we asked you guys how you meet people, and many of you listed out some of these things, but the organic space, right? We want to, we can meet people where we already go, support groups, church. We have professional work environments, volunteering, neighborhood events, community events, and things of that nature. Now, one of the things that is a benefit when you are meeting people in person, I know it is difficult because, we have a disadvantage of not being able to kind of, I like to say, work the room, right? It's harder for us to stand there and look around and see who's around us. But there are, ways to do that. But when you're in these spaces, one of the benefits is that you have built-in shared interests. If you're at a support group or some type of event or a specific group that meets for, gardening or, book clubs and things of that. Those are places where these people here, you're already starting off with a leg up. That doesn't make sense, a leg up. Well, but you know what I mean. You got 1 point for you in the fact that they're here in a place where there is a common shared interest, right? The other thing is safety, right? You're meeting these people, you take away the the fear of, is this going to be a safe meeting? I'm already meeting them. There's other people around, and I think that's a great thing as well. Mutual acquaintances. Sometimes you guys know the same people and might have, similar acquaintances that are, which is also awesome because again, you got that person there that you might be able to ask them. There's no questions about. You just never know, right? And then two, and this is not on here, but I do want to say this: it takes away that awkward moment of having to tell somebody you are blind or visually impaired, right? You're meeting in this space. You're at this event, volunteering, wherever you're at. They already see and know that you are blind or visually impaired. So that is a great space to eliminate that awkward, disclosure part, right? All right. So next we're going to go into, so we had some of those places. Ron, I don't know if we wanted to take some questions on this or just move on into the, thinking.
I think this will be a good place to take some
Yeah.
discussion here,
Yeah.
because
First some-
we've shifted from the
dating. Yes. You're right. Sorry.
online apps, or because
In person. Yeah.
in person. I mean, this to me, I'm not throwing my preferences out there because I'm not dating, but I like meeting people in person. I mean, period. I just like meeting, even if I meet someone online, we try to, if it's someone I like, hey, why don't we meet up? Go have a Coke, go have lunch or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met people from other states and countries through online, and in person is preferred to me.
Yeah.
So Sailor,
that is
threw his
true.
hand up here.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you for bringing that up because honestly, I like meeting people more in person than online, given that how online dating has gone for me. But when I'm in a big room and lots of people, and there's people everywhere, especially the mingling, I mean, all the noise, I get massive anxiety because how do I say hi to so many people? How do I find so many people? I can't see faces. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's
That's
just
a
how do I go about that? You know?
that's a good point, Sailor. And again, we cannot see to be able to say, oh, I want to go and talk to that person, right? I want to go to talk. So it is difficult. But I mentioned earlier working the room, and even though we cannot see, we can still work a room, right? And so it can take as something as simple as, get your cane, you're navigating around, you can tell where people are, and just stopping and introducing yourself. Hey, how are you guys doing? It could be a group of people, it could be somebody, one person.
Yeah.
Hey, my name is Sailor, how are you doing today? And what's your name, even, just general walking around meeting people. Now that doesn't have to be in a way of everybody you're meeting is somebody you're trying to date,
Right.
right? And so it's just natural. Most of the time when I meet people, I'm accidentally bumping into them, right?
Yeah.
I'm accident. Oh, I'm sorry. This is, and then that's when you take the opportunity. Oh, I apologize. My name is Victoria. Nice to meet you. What's your name? Right? And so that kind of helps to. For one, I'm apologizing for my bumping into them, but at the same time, now that since I had to
You've
speak
got the
to you,
chance to
yeah, I
introduce
had to
yourself.
speak to you. Now I'm going to introduce. And so sometimes that is, and it does get overwhelming, and it can
Yeah.
be, it's a lot going on, but you have to, and then don't forget to, when it does get that way too, it's okay to step away and to by yourself for a second and just, take some breaths and breathe a little bit too,
Yeah.
And if you bump into someone, part of that is I'll, just like, if not even apologizing for bumping into them, just making a general comment that they could chime into and show that they can relate. It's kind of
Yeah.
overwhelming in here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And how do I
Open the door for conversation,
Yeah.
and that's
conversation?
part of this is
Mhm.
understanding, recognizing those opportunities.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of
So
course, I meet people if I'm someone interested. How do I break the ice as far as like dating? How do I get their phone number? Like, I know ladies don't like to ask us to ask ages and stuff, but like I go by their voice too. That's how I get to know people more. I go by their voice. That's how I recognize them. Once I know their voice, I sometimes I'll have to like ask what their name is a few times, but once I do, once I know their voice, I know who they are. But like,
right.
I break the ice with dating and everything, you know.
So that's a good point, Sailor. Thank you for bringing that up, because not everybody that you meet is going to just automatically give you or want to give you their phone number, right? So these are the opportunities to take those times to speak to people, getting that feel of the engagement in the conversation. If you guys have those common interests and your conversation is flowing and things, and hey, if you don't mind, I would like to exchange numbers so we can keep in contact. We have, a lot in common. And
Yeah.
and it's okay if they say, oh, I don't think so. Okay, well, no, well, it was nice meeting you, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
because we don't want to feel, because we don't want to feel like, pressure to give anybody our phone number either, right?
Because
yeah.
honestly, I went to TSBVI in fall, and when I was a teenager, I'll admit it, I had hormones everywhere, right? I wanted a girlfriend. I would ask people for their phone number, and I would even ask, "What are you doing this week?" And
yeah,
they really didn't want to like give it out, and it confused me. It confused me, and I mean, and I was in environment with people with other like issues as well, you know.
Yeah. So, and we're going to touch on that a little bit more in our next segments, Sailor. So stay tuned for that as well. Okay.
And Candace has her hand raised too.
All right, Candace, go ahead.
Victoria, so I kind of have to agree with Sailor, and just to kind of touch a little bit on kind of what Sailor said. I had a mutual acquaintance one time who would go out and meet just random people, right? And she's like, goes up to him and goes, "Can I get your phone number? I want to get together with you. I want to get to know you." And I'm like, I confronted her one day, and I'm like, that's not how you present yourself to somebody that you don't have a clue what they're like.
Yeah. Well, everybody is different and handles their ways differently. And so no, that's not, probably the best way to do it. And you probably should, want to make sure that that person is somebody that is worth, that you want to get to know. But
right. But I'm like Sailor, where when I'm out in public and I want to talk to somebody, I want to talk to them at least more than once so that I know what they're like.
Right. Absolutely. Okay. So then that's a good point. Just with that point though, if you're out someplace in public with them and you're speaking to them and the event is over, how would you talk to them a second time if you did not exchange information?
Right. I see what you're saying. That would be difficult because you didn't have their information.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with exchanging phone numbers, right? The beauty of that is if that person does become a problem, you can so that's the beauty of it. And the flip side, on the other side, the beauty of it is if that person is not somebody you want to continue talking to and don't get the hint after you told them not, you can block. Right. So, so it's okay. That to me, when you met that person and you want to exchange numbers, that's how you're going to get to know that person to determine if this is somebody worth pursuing to date. Right. So awesome. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else have any comments or questions? All right. Well, then with that being said, let's go ahead and then we will go ahead and move into our next segment. And we're going to move into expectations of the relationship. And we're going to have Ron go ahead and take it over.
All right. When we meet somebody, automatically we don't say, "Oh, I want to be my girlfriend. Oh, I want him to be my boyfriend." But what we do, it all starts with being friends. But as things develop, you may have other expectations, like you both may feel that. And when you do, part of this is first knowing what you want, but also their expectations. So, I had a conversation the other day with somebody, young lady, and she was telling me, says, "Well, this guy wants me to be his girlfriend. What should I do?" I said, "Well, what does being his girlfriend mean?" And she didn't know. I said, "What's it mean to you?" And I mean, she's visually impaired. She doesn't drive, and the young man doesn't drive, and doesn't live nearby. So, what does that mean? I said, "So, what is his expectations of a girlfriend? What's your expectations of a boyfriend?" So I said the biggest thing to do is talk this through, and communication. I mean, friendships, romantic relationships, dating, it comes down to communication. Know what you want, know what you expect, and hold yourself accountable too. Part of this, if you meet somebody who is, I'm going to shift gears into a different thing here. Say you're at work or volunteering or at church, and it's someone that you like. You want to put forth some form of confidence and independence. Not that you're helpless and they feel like they're going to be the caretaker and come in, ooh, let me do that for you. Here, come here. And no, I don't think any of us want that. I know I don't. I never did, and it's to me the red flag. But it was one of those things that I realized after I became blind. You attract the caretaker type, and if you want to be independent, demonstrate your independence.
Ron, there is nothing more attractive than confidence. I'm telling you, in a person. Confidence it puts on such an aura about people. And when you don't have that confidence, it kind of changes your character for a person, right? Because I think confidence and independence is also very important. Now, we know as blind people, there are times when we do need assistance, and we get that. But there's a difference between needing assistance to, do major things versus needing assistance to tie your shoe.
Yeah.
Right.
Just because you ask for help does not mean you're helpless.
Right. Exactly. Right. Does anybody have any comments or anything that they would like to add to that discussion?
Yeah, I would like to say something. My name is Tarman. So when I think about dating, I kind of look at it like a job interview, and we're interviewing each other. So when you go to a job interview, you want to make sure that you put your best foot forward. You want to be yourself. You want to, just like I don't know which one of you ladies said, you want to show them that you're independent. You want to show them that you're intelligent. You want to have some type of charisma about yourself. And just like when you go on an interview, those of you who've been on an interview, and if you haven't been on an interview, that's understandable too. But read about what you need to do to be on an interview, and so they're just not interviewing you. That's one thing we have to remember as people with disabilities. We're interviewing them. And just because someone likes us doesn't mean we have to like them.
Love it. Nice. Great comment.
That's kind of the way I approach things. And just to circle back to what you guys were saying earlier about the dating apps, I've used Match. I've had a lot of success with Match. It's not fully accessible, but most of it is accessible. So that's something that I've used in the past and had pretty good success with it. But I think you guys hit the nail on the head as far as being confident. You have to be confident. Like, I always like to say, disability is not a barrier, it's just a difference,
Right. Yeah.
and we just have to present ourselves that way, and it's kind of like, and I'll shut up after this, it's kind of like you want to take as many reasons for them to say no off the table,
Right.
And just be yourself and just know that
Yeah.
you're not any different than they are. You just have, everybody has something, ours just may be more visible than other people, but everybody has something going on. So don't think like just because they might be able-bodied that, you're less than them. So, don't put people on pedestals either. They're no different than you. They put their shoes on just like we do. So
absolutely. Yes.
Aaron, where are you located?
It's Tarman.
It's Tarman. Yeah, that's Tarman.
Located in Alabama.
Okay. All right. Excuse me. I'm
one voice at a time.
And because I just I appreciate your input because you cover some really good points here, and I just echo what you said about not it comes down to knowing what you want and what you don't want. I mean, you meet somebody that that there's personalities we just don't gel with, and it's okay to say no. You don't have to be desperate just because you have a disability. And I forget exactly how you said that, but yeah, you said it well.
Yeah, and you know, the other thing too that and what to go further to your point is we are allowed to have standards and expectations for who we want to date, right? And we should never have to settle if that's not what we want and that's not what we're looking for. I seen a post on Facebook a couple of weeks ago or last week, and it was saying somebody was saying, "How dare you, as a blind person, be picky on who you date?" Right? We absolutely should be picky. We absolutely should have those expectations. If we have certain things that we are looking for in a partner, we do, and they do not meet those qualifications or that application process, because we all should have applications ready in our head, right? And if those don't match up, then it's okay that this is not the person for you. And so those are points that, you know, we need to know. We deserve to have the same expectations in a relationship as everybody else. So awesome. Yeah.
And Thomas has his hand raised.
Go ahead, Thomas.
You know, the comment about the job interview, I like that. You almost, it's like these days, you almost have to do a criminal background check because you don't want to wind up with someone, and it all boils down to, I like the idea of confidence, Victoria. That is absolutely correct. But I also like the idea of being honest.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
don't lie to me. If you've got something in your background that you're not necessarily proud of, you if you're honest with me, I might think, okay, I'll listen. It may
Right.
not be something I want to hear, but I'd rather a hard truth than a sweet lie.
Right. You know what I call that, Thomas? And this is what we should informed consent, right? When we are having medical procedures and all these things done, I need to have all of the information in front of me so that I can make the decision if I want to move forward. And you should also respect me in my decision to not want to continue if that's what I choose. And so, but we all should have the truth of whatever it is laid out in front of us so that we can make the decisions if we want to move forward. Thank you. That's a great point, Thomas. All right.
And Aaron does have his hand raised. Oh, now you lowered it.
My first, sorry, I always lower it when people call me. That's my thing that I do on Zoom.
Awesome. You're quick with it.
Basically, because I don't want to like forget it.
Yeah.
My first comment, like that person that posted that on Facebook, ignorance is no excuse. Like that's not a good behavior. That's my first comment. Maybe he or she should be kicked off or called out. But second of all, there are some universal rules with expectations. Like you don't mock highly sensitive people. You don't mock like people with disabilities. You have to respect. You don't like yell too much in a relationship. Like I mean, there are some universal expectations.
Right.
Not just like.
But I think they're individualized, right? My expectations might not be, whether you might see them as universal, that, you know, everybody has a right to have their own expectations, and that's okay, right? You know, I'm just throwing this, like you said, okay, you don't yell at each other, but you know, somebody might want somebody that yells at them. I don't know. But regardless, I think one of the main things, the universal rule for me is respect. Right? That should be a universal
mutual
rule.
respect.
Mutual respect.
I mean, that is universal. I mean,
yeah, mutual
everyone
respect.
has their own expectations, but
Yeah.
that is universal. Mutual
Yeah.
respect.
Yep. Mutual respect. And, you know, and those lead to other things that we're going to discuss further, that people who do not require that.
Yeah.
Right.
And, you know, mutual respect. I mean, if someone's treating you the way you don't want to be treated, there's your opportunity. You need to stand up, advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
You will not talk to me that way.
Right. Yeah.
You will not treat me that way. That comes to knowing yourself and what you want in a relationship. If you want someone who's going to treat you that way, well, let it go on. But if you don't, that you owe it to yourself to stand up and
we have to stand up because unfortunately we don't have the laws against it like we do with conventional crimes, like verbal.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And it's holding yourself accountable too, right? And that's what Ron was speaking of earlier. You have to hold yourself accountable for your expectations. If you want somebody to respect you, then you should not allow somebody to disrespect you. Right? So you got to hold yourself accountable for your values and what's important to you. Right? Awesome. Thank you, Erin, for that. All right. Is anybody else's hands up or anything? Okay. Is Naomi here? I don't know if she came back. Naomi, did you make it back?
Yeah, she's here.
All right. So we're
back.
going to go ahead and turn it over to, we're going to have some, shift gears a little bit here and talk about some flags, right? So we're going to hand it over to Naomi to give you guys some. Yes, but we're going to start with green flags, right? Because there's green flags.
Green lights.
Green lights. Yes, green lights.
Oh, green lights.
Green lights. Yes,
and red
sorry.
flags.
Green. Yeah. And red lights too. Yeah. Naomi, you want to take it over?
I'm here. Sorry about the trouble earlier.
All
I'm
right.
here and I'm looking for my eyeballs. You guys, I'm experiencing like a major vision issue right now. I cannot see my agenda portion and I misplaced my glasses and I am touching everything in my house to try to find them. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
The joys of low vision, right?
Oh, you know, this freaking low vision. And it doesn't help that my frames, everybody, for the record, are a light gold color. They're very, very thin. So they look practically invisible against any surface. And now I'm freaking out because I don't know where I put them. Not even to try and move along with the conversation, but I really need to know where they are. I'm so sorry. I may need one of you guys to go ahead and take over my portion until I find my glasses because now I'm panicking.
All right.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Let's see. Ron, you want to? Do you
oh
have
my gosh.
All right.
I'll take it from here.
Thanks, Ron.
It's
I'm
called
still
green
looking
light.
for my glasses.
Oh, you do what you need to do. You light dependent people. No, go find them. Green lights. I like that term because a green light means go. We don't have to see it to know a green. That's what a green light means. You go ahead. So being able to pick up on a conversational green light, and this goes back to what we were talking about with Sailor earlier. When you have the opportunity to talk to somebody, and how do you know, what do they say or do that makes you think, hey, maybe we can talk some more. And how do we do this? Where do we go from here? Guns N' Roses said, where do we go now? Where do we go? So it's a matter of you being able to notice the conversational green light. So you don't have to have sight to see a real green light, but the conversational green light, that's up to you. Say you've been volunteering for several months at this one place, and you've really hit it off with this other volunteer, okay? Because y'all work closely, they already know you're visually impaired. So what happens from there? How do you take it from there?
Does anybody want to give it a shot and tell us how you would approach that coworker? And
This is Tarman again. So
all right, Tarman, what would you do? Take it away. Shoot your shot.
So a lot of times we have to. It's a balancing act. We have to let them know we're interested, but we also don't want to put ourselves in the friend zone.
Yeah, right.
A lot of guys, especially us men with disability, sometimes we feel like, oh, if I just, if I'm her friend long enough, she'll see me romantically.
Yeah.
And no, she'll put you in that box, and you're stuck in that box forever.
That's a good point.
You have to be kind, but also let her know your intentions, that I would like to take you out, say the actual word, a date, so that she'll know this is not just you know, a friend if you're interested in her in that way. So you have to let it be known, I would like to take you out on a date, not I just want to go for coffee or I just want to hang out or I just, because that sets the expectation and that lets her know your intentions. Like, I just don't want to be your buddy.
Yeah, I want to be a friend.
And then when you go on the date, you know, you, depending on whatever type of date you set, and if you're the guy, you know, make plans. Women like that, you know.
Take charge, right?
You don't want to say, you can ask them, you know, what are some things you like to do, and when she gives you that information, then you can do what you will with that. So if she likes seafood or whatever, you might want to take her to Red Lobster or whatever, you know. So so just kind of identify what her interests are and then use that to your best ability. But that's how I would approach it. I would let her know my intentions and, hey, you know, well, first you have to ask her for a phone number or whatever. And she gives you a phone number, that might be a green light. But then after you get the phone number, once you have a conversation or two, then you need to let her know your intentions, that this, you know, it's not just a buddy friend type of thing.
Okay, so for you, I'm going to chime in really quick. This is Naomi. Is there a timeline of that, what that looks like?
So for me, by the third conversation, if it's flowing appropriately, then I'd say, hey, you know, can we get together sometime? Can I take you out on a date? Take you to dinner? I'd really like to get to know you on a
deeper level,
deeper personal level, so she can know your intentions. So, but if you just leave things vague, then
you fall in that friend zone.
You'll be in that friend zone.
Communication, though, that's the key word, right? It's the communication, and
Can I add?
That's the give me 1 second. Let me just say the communication. And when you said about the 3 conversations, right? Though that's the time that you guys that's that job interview, right? Because what if
that's a good point,
Yeah,
Victoria.
what if in those 3 conversations you decide, well, I thought I wanted to date her, but I didn't learn some stuff that really has just turned me off, right?
And you're still going to be volunteering together after this.
Right. So that's a safe way to just, you know, and to just kind of, you know, let that dissolve, right? So yes, that's great. I love it. Thank you. Go
this
ahead.
is Cynthia. I have a comment on what the gentleman just said. I was laughing and laughing because this has happened to me multiple times. I have guy friends, and a couple of those guy friends, long after we had been friends, came and said, Cynthia, I always liked you. I didn't want to be just a friend. And I had no idea. My mouth fell open because once they got locked into the friend zone, I could never think about them in any other way but a friend. And I had a couple of them, like I said, or a few actually, come and say, I thought maybe we could be together. And I was thinking, why didn't you ever say anything? Because it's too late. Once they get locked in that box for me, I can't take them out of that box. They're locked in there. And I mean,
oh wow,
it's just how I feel about once I make a friend, you're a friend, and that's all we're ever going to be. But I had to laugh and comment on that because that very thing has happened to me more than once.
Yeah, which goes more towards his point, right? You have to communicate your expectations before you get locked into that friend zone.
Know what you want.
Yeah, go ahead, Sailor.
Y'all mentioned the guy plans the date, he can plan it, but as far as for driving, of course, if a lady is sighted, you can drive. Of course, if you're blind, if you're both blind, we could do public transportation, whether that's Uber, Lyft, Metro Lyft, or even y'all, a Waymo. Yep, I was in a Waymo this week.
Well, you know, Sailor, I do want to say something about that. To me, I would not want my first date to say, hey, can you come and pick me up? Right. So I would still, to show my independence, you know, we can meet at the restaurant. So yeah, I don't think it, to me, again, that independence is important. that, I think that we need to make arrangements, as especially to me, and men, you can chime in on this. I feel it's even more important from a man's point of view to be able to show the woman that he has the ability to still be independent and be able to get to a restaurant on his own. I just, it's not a good look, and this is my own personal take, right? It's not a good look for me if we're planning a date and you're saying, hey, you need to come pick me up, right? So I think a man should be prepared, whether he takes an Uber or he gets dropped off, a family member drops him off, a metro drops him off, find a way to meet somebody at the spot. Anybody want to chime in on that?
I will say this. This is Tarman again. If the girl is digging you, which has been my experience, she'll pick you up. She'll, because I've offered like, oh, I'll meet you there. And they'll be like, no. I'll pick you up. So it just depends on the connection, but to make a
yeah, I agree. The connection.
I mean, when I met my wife, we lived 4 hours apart. She drove 4 hours to come see me.
Yeah, well, that's different too, because you're
but I'm saying, if she's driving,
the expectation should not be there. And like Tarman said, I'll meet you there. Well, no, I don't mind I'll come pick you up. Okay, that's different, right? But I think that still says something that you volunteered and offered to meet that person there.
But I also say it because not to use stereotypes, but women want to feel protected. They want to feel like that you're no different from an able-bodied sighted person or whatever. And so one thing you could do, like the gentleman said earlier, you can, hey, I'll pick you up. I'll get an Uber to come to your house, or I'll
pick you up
contract
in the Uber.
a driver or
pick
whatever,
you up in the Uber.
To pick you up, and that shows them, oh, he can still
provide, still do what he needs to do.
Anybody else would do.
Absolutely. The expectation should never be there to me for somebody to automatically come and take care of you in any way.
Right. And you cannot assume how someone feels, and communication
is key.
Yeah. We have 3 people with their hand raised. Dafina,
oh my, I'm sorry.
Christina and Talana.
All right, bring it on, Dafina.
Dafina.
Said Delphina first, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Dafina.
Okay, but
she's muted still.
Yeah,
but...
Christina, you want to go ahead and go?
Unmute.
Oh, that's you?
All right, here you go, Dafina.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't unmute.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
It's a very I guess broad answer to that question, because it's different perspectives, the male perspective, the female perspective. I don't think it should be forgotten to mention safety, because if it's a first date and this scenario, you volunteer together, but if it's a scenario like meeting on a dating app, and this is your first time meeting in person, personally, I don't want someone coming to my house. So I'm going to meet them there.
Meet at a restaurant. Absolutely.
Right. And it's going to be a public place. I have been offered a ride. There was this one bus driver for the mobility who asked me out, and he insisted that he was going to pick me up. And I insisted that he was going to lose my number, because to me, that was a safety issue. Like, you must think I'm going to be vulnerable in this car with you, and I'm not going to do that.
Yes. Thank
so
you. Communicating that too was key, right?
Right.
And staying accountable.
Right. And I also agree that it does look good, for a guy to say, okay, I'm going to get an Uber to pick you up. I think a sighted woman or even a blind woman would appreciate that. I think that's good. Some women, they want to be picked up, and that's their prerogative if they feel comfortable having someone come to their house on a first time meeting, that might be them. But me personally, I don't do that.
Right. And you should communicate that, right? And you will know that. And that should be communicated. But if a woman is saying, I will meet you there, then respect that.
Right.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Christina.
Yes. So actually, that's one of the points that I was going to make is what she was speaking about is the safety part. Like, I wouldn't want somebody to pick me up on my first date because I don't necessarily want them to know where I live.
Yeah.
Secondly, I want the option to meet the person at the restaurant because for several reasons as a BVI person. One, I want to be able to scope out the scene first. I want to be able to, get comfortable at the table type of thing, without those extra stumblings where, they're watching me have someone guide me to the table or, stuff like that, just to get comfortable.
Yeah. So you go early, right?
Yeah,
so
go early. Exactly.
And hopefully you both are not doing this, having thought, so you both are showing up early, right?
And then also, what about the situation where if the date is not going so well and, now you want to out, but that person picked you up, and so now you can't leave on your own. Like, no, I'd rather have my own way there and way home. So that way I'm not locked into finishing this date if I don't want to, if not needed.
But I will say, whether they took you there or not, if you are ready to go and you want to leave, you better get you an Uber.
Yeah,
so always be prepared. Never go anywhere where you cannot get out on your own.
Know your options.
Right. And go
can I
broke.
add that while you're saying that too? That's a very old-fashioned thing that used to be taught when you go on dates, that even though maybe the guy is paying for the date or whatever,
have your
you're
own money.
always expected to have some type of money in your pocket to cover your meal,
right,
as well as for a phone call and transportation. Now the phone call isn't as
turned
important.
into Uber.
You don't have a
Uber
payphone
money
to put any change in anymore, but at least have your phone charged. And I also share my location with somebody I trust, so I can always be found.
Have an exit strategy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. All right. Did you say Talana? Talana says hi, Talana.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's so much that can be said.
I know, right?
I'm gonna take it back. And excuse me, Mr. T, you're gray because your name starts with a T already from Alabama. So with that being said, y'all know I love the letter T. It goes back to his interview, and it just me and my significant other. We've been together about 7 years now, but I've been knowing him about 10. And I'm just being transparent. When I first met him, I did not want him to take me out on a date. And Victoria knows a lot of the background.
Right.
But I didn't want him to take me out on a date because I just thought, no, I wasn't, I didn't feel protected. I didn't feel and I'm just being transparent, because he hadn't stepped into the acceptance of his blindness.
Yeah.
And that was something that I picked up on.
Yeah.
So I was afraid to go out because he was a loose cannon. I'm just being transparent, y'all. And so it took a couple of years for me to actually accept the date.
Well, for him too, it probably took a couple of years for him to grow into independence and that confidence, right? That acceptance.
Now, he was confident from the beginning.
Yeah.
But it was nothing to do with the confidence.
It was you.
It was more, this is something new. You know how if you've been sighted majority of your life and then this just happens.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere. And then you're so strong already and confident. And then it's like you have to be over strong now that you like lost your sight. So every little thing, you're like a cannonball.
Yeah.
That's how it was.
Yeah.
So he was confident, but that mentality, that mentality was over the top. just
Yeah.
a loose cannon. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you can't see, you can't be doing that. You don't know what's gonna. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't go out on a date, right? But we remain friends. So it goes back to what Mr. Alabama T said. That interview, and our
Yeah.
first date was at Baskin Robbins because he had that interview, just getting to know me over the phone, saying, well, I was like, well, I haven't even been to Baskin Robbins since I lost my sight. And that was
Mhm.
our first date. And I know we talked about the safety, the ladies talked about the safety. I allowed him to come and get me because we had conversations over the years. So I allowed him to come and get me. He didn't want me to get on. We both use public not what paratransit,
Paratransit. Mm-hmm.
but he didn't want me to get on paratransit by myself to come and meet him. So he came and met me on paratransit. We got on his paratransit, not mine. So I saved my $1.25. No.
Yeah, stop.
And we went
Yeah.
to Baskin Robbins.
Nice.
And he brought me back home on paratransit. And then he left.
Yeah.
It was,
Well,
and
and
it
he
just,
got the job because that interview that he got
and
the
it,
job.
and it kind of impressed me because he listened to say and it was years ago that I told him that I
Yeah.
wanted to go to Baskin Robbins. And he remembered that.
Nice. Yeah.
And that confidence and just to listen to me and know what I like. He knew the flavor he ordered for me. And so that was just like overwhelming that we hadn't talked about this in years, but he remembered everything I said.
Yeah.
And it takes
So
me back to the confidence, not only in yourself, but in the other person, especially when you're doing that interview.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
when you see those green, like that was a red flag for me in the beginning, but we ain't got to the
Yeah.
red flags
The
yet.
green.
But
Yeah. The
but
green.
when you
Yeah.
see those green flags, then you're willing to open the door and
Right.
to push the gas.
And just to say, note to men, pay attention. You see
Yeah.
what she just said about she told him something years ago and he remembered that, right? And so when we like when men listen, and sometimes that's not always done. It goes both ways. We both have to
Yeah.
listen, but men are more known to not listen. So
What?
thank you, Talana. Yeah, right? Exactly. So thank you for sharing, Talana. All right. Do we
We
have
have one
anybody?
more hand raised.
All
Owner.
right. Okay. We got owner with their hand raised.
Who is owner?
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
we gotcha.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Ingrid, and that's from Atlanta. I wanted to kind of touch on a situation I did have. A gentleman I met about 8, 9 months ago. We had been talking 7 or 8 months before we went on our first date. And I had to kind to explain to him. He was can sense, my independency, very independent, but wanted to do everything for me, like everything. I'm like, wait, 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 don't do that. No, no, no. Very high confidence. But the thing is, with this going on about 2 or 3 dates, generally he became, I don't know if I was too strong or too confident, where it seemed like he was intimidated. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
with the first 7 months of speaking on the phone for hours and hours before we actually went on our first date, everything was there. Everyone's both of our personalities, and we shared the same birthday, so we had a kind of a same agreement and looks on different things. But I know just somewhere down there in the end is as if like he kind of fell off or got ghosty or just backed off. And I don't know, maybe say I was coming off too strong or I don't know. I don't know. It's
Hmm.
just the communication kind of fell off some sort, but
Yeah, those are the chances that are taken too, right? And this is the other thing, guys. When we are talking and we're meeting somebody on the phone and we're talking for months and months, right? There is still a difference when you meet that person in person, right? So the things could shift. You want to you think that maybe you came off too strong or something like that, but you know, showed your independence, showed what you are able to do, what you did not need him to do. If that did not, sit well with him, then that was not the one for you, right? Because what were you supposed to do? Be less, you say you felt you come up too strong, but you can only be your authentic self. And if that was not enough, then that was not the one for you. And sometimes we risk those chances. We have to take those chances. So,
Right.
you continue to be your independent, awesome, strong self.
Thank you.
And, and that's his loss.
Yes.
So,
Thank you.
but yeah, there it does come something to say, guys, when you do. I mean, conversation can be great, but that also is reserved on both sides, because we can talk to somebody on the phone for months and think this is the greatest person, but when we get face to face, that same energy or connection may not be there, and that's okay too, right? All right, Ron, do you have anything else you want to add to that?
Mark Peters just raised his hand.
All right, Mark, go ahead.
So I was gonna say the one thing that I have to keep in mind when dating too is I don't just have a visual disability, but I also have a physical disability. So
Mm-hmm.
people look at that like it's, I feel like they look at that as a burden to them.
Right.
So I kind of try to steer clear of the people that are, think that I'm gonna burden them or they need to take care of me because I can't be independent, or they think I can't be independent, but I have my own place and I do my own stuff, so I just gotta show them that.
Right. So, and I just want to touch on that. So you say you steer clear of people. How do you know upfront? Like so you steer clear. Is there something that you look for upfront that tells you to steer clear from them? Like, how would you know that they would look at you that way?
Just, just I think it's just a fear I
Mm,
have.
right. Okay.
It's
Yeah.
because I don't want to be rejected because of it.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
have that to this day.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I get that.
And
Because
I think some of that, you have to trust your instincts
yeah.
with your interactions with someone,
Right.
because when they're being, sometimes it's tone, the way they're talking
Yeah.
to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's their actions. Always, my wife's a cooking teacher, and she told me early on, because I told her, I said, I don't need a caretaker. I said, I had my own house. She came, I prepared food for us, and she's, I said, you do you, I'll do me. She says, but as a cooking teacher, she says, this is how I show love. I know you're capable, and part of this was me learning learning the dance with her, because that's how she showed love. She wasn't saying you can't do this. She knew I could, but the individual, and again, you have to trust your instincts, because there's some people that, if there were some women I was dating that, they took over the kitchen. I'm like, hello, no, this is my house.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I think you've got the right thing. And part of that, we had another green light segment. I think we're going to skip, because it was basically touching on this, where someone is overly helpful, but you have to assert yourself. And I think a lot of that comes down to trusting your instincts, because sometimes it's action, sometimes it's tone, it's their words, it's how they treat you. No one wants to be treated like a child. You're a grown man. You're living on your own. You're doing your thing.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
rock on.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
I was dating somebody for 2 years and she ended up cheating on me and I didn't see it. I didn't know until she came to me, and she we would cook together and she would keep the house all dirty and not even help me clean it up, and it's like,
Oh,
what's
well.
the you know?
Okay, Mark, that is unfortunate, right?
Yeah.
And but you know what? Again, that happens to, unfortunately, it happens to everybody, right? That's not even a blind or disabled thing. I mean, if
Right.
they're a cheater, they're a cheater, they're a
Not
cheater.
cheat on you. She should
Yeah.
not have done that. Like that's
Well,
bad. I was always conditioned
yeah.
throughout my life that that's bad.
Well, it is. I mean, but a cheater's a cheater, right?
Right.
So, but that's actually a good segue to take us into this next segment, and we are
Red
gonna,
flags, red
yeah.
flags, red flags.
So we're
Yeah.
gonna go into some red flags, and we're gonna share and get some thoughts on that. But before we dive into those red flags, there is some things that I wanted to go into, because red flags are things that we see in somebody, right, that should tell us, stop, do not continue pursuing this relationship, right? So often we ignore those red flags. They are, we see them, we think that, well, that's a red flag, that they might still give them a chance, we might still, do this, and we end up getting treated poorly, we end up getting, being in a disrespectful relationship, sometimes toxic relationships, right? And one of the things that, one of the reasons that I found, and that can cause us to accept those red flags, is insecurities in ourselves, within ourselves, not loving ourselves, knowing our self-worth, our value, and things of that nature, just things that we need to work on within ourselves, because if we do not love ourselves, we cannot, number one, give love to anybody else, and number two, expect to be loved the way we deserve to be loved, because we are we're not ready, right? And so there are things that we accept, some people accept because of that. So I just want to make sure that people know and understand that if you are not happy within you or with yourself, or you do not love yourself, then dating probably should not be something you are pursuing until you work on you, right? So there's that.
Amen. Amen to that.
Yes. So, and then there's the other thing too. A lot of us accept red flags because we don't want to be alone, right? Because, you know, we feel like, well, I accept that because who else is gonna want me? I'm blind, nobody else is gonna want me. And again, that goes back to that knowing your value and your worth. And there is a difference between lonely and being alone. Okay. And I think that needs to be understood as well, right? Because if you are alone, um, that means okay, so you don't have a partner, you don't have somebody, you might be alone, but lonely, you can still feel lonely even if you are with somebody. I hope I have that the right way. Is that the right way? Lonely and alone.
Absolutely.
Okay,
You said it
perfect. Okay.
perfectly.
So just know that, right? So those are two different things that you have to understand, and you have to just really have those standards. And that's what I had spoke on earlier, of your standards and expectations. When you love yourself, you are aware of what you deserve and what you do not deserve. So that means you will not tolerate disrespect. You will not tolerate cheating. You will not tolerate physical abuse. Those are things that you won't tolerate because you know you deserve more. Verbal too, absolutely.
And some people can permanently cut you out of your life if they found out that you cheat on them. They could permanently cut you out. That can happen.
Yeah. So what you do is you want to just make sure that you have a clear understanding of your expectations. You might set if you set your expectations low, right? You'll meet them within yourself, right? But if you set your expectations high, which you can do that as well, however you set your expectations, you need to stand by those expectations and hold yourself accountable to meeting those expectations.
And I like how you said that. You set your expectations high. You may not always meet them, but you're going to get a lot closer than settling and setting your expectations low.
And we do not have to settle because we're blind or because
That's
we
right.
think nobody wants us or because, you know, which, and I'm not, trust me, I'm not judging anybody if that's because I was there, right? I dated people that I would have never dated, but I'm like, oh, well, who else is going to want me? Nobody else is going to want me because I can't see. Those were some of the worst relationships and did not last long at all. But because I felt that if I didn't have anybody, you know, something was wrong with me. But it took a lot of time and me getting to know myself and learning to love myself as a strong, independent, confident, blind woman.
Yes, and that's essential and
Yes.
necessary.
Yes, you have to do that. So those are that. But before we take any questions, I want to just go into and turn this over to Naomi. Or are you able to, Naomi, or do you need me to? What are you dateable? I don't know if you found your
Please go
glasses.
ahead.
Okay.
Please go ahead. Please.
So, all right. So we're gonna just jump into something, right? I have a question for all of you to ask yourself, right? Would you date yourself? Right? Are you in a position within yourself or that somebody would want to date you? Would you want to date you? Because if the answer is no to that, yeah, I couldn't date me, not right now, then don't try to date. You have to get yourself to a position where you are, somebody wants to date you. And we have to be honest within ourselves, right? There are so many things, you know, even the blindness. Blindness is just one facet of who we are, right? That's just okay. So I'm not gonna not want to. I don't want to not blind date myself because I'm blind. Absolutely not. There's no reason, right? We have many personality traits, many characteristics in us. We have a lot of things in us that is what is looked at when people are seeking potential dates, right? So what are you putting out? When you talk, what do you talk about? Are you talking about yourself? Are you, you know, is it all about me, 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 me? You know, that's somebody I wouldn't want to date, right? So these are things that, you know, are you engaging? Are you, you know, uh, there's so many ways we can get with this, but would like to open it up and ask you guys if anybody would like to share. Would you date you?
Yes.
No. Okay. You would
I
date
don't know.
you.
I never
Yeah.
heard of that phrase before.
Yeah. We asked you, I mean, do you feel like you are a type of person that you would date?
Yes. It's
Uh,
Naomi.
yeah, Naomi. And why? Why are you dateable?
Oh, but just because,
why
well,
would you date why would you date you?
I would date me because I'm fabulous. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But I am. I am. No, you know, I genuinely care about myself, my mental stability, my my welfare, my health, financially, like all the things that I would look for in a mate. I have ensured that those things happen for me and it was by me. So if
Right.
I can do that for myself, then I then know, okay, I have the ability
Do that for
to
others.
be that for someone else because I
Yeah.
know with 100% no
Exactly.
hesitation, I've
Right.
already set that up for myself. So yes, I would
Nice.
date myself.
All right. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
We got
Yes.
Taylor with
Okay.
his hand raised, and after
Taylor.
that, Thomas.
All right, Taylor, would you date you?
Yeah, I would. I would date myself. I've done a lot of work on myself over the past couple of years, just
Nice.
understand my personality more, understand my wiring, my sensitivity. I don't know if y'all saw a Facebook post I put out yesterday. I have what's called rejection sensitive dysphoria. That's a neurodivergent trait, like in like highly sensitive and ADHD people, where like they feel rejection more intensely, like when someone doesn't, contact them right away, and they
Right.
don't take it personal. It's just, if anything, have a system in place to advocate. How
Nice.
we can work with our schedules, get back with each other and all that. And
Awesome.
I would date. I really like the red flags part where like you gotta be comfortable with yourself to start dating others. And
Right.
also, you should never stay in a relationship that's unhealthy because,
Yes.
and even if you love, because I'm sure I've heard what trauma bonding is.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Yes.
And
That,
what
Thank
if I
you.
haven't? So
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying because someone may not speak up and say, "Yeah, I haven't heard this." So what is
Okay.
trauma bonding?
yeah.
Taylor,
Go
what's
ahead. What is
trauma?
trauma
I've
bonding?
never heard of that. What is
I'm
it,
Yeah.
sorry.
Taylor?
A trauma bond where it's this phenomenon where I'm on a Zoom call. So a trauma bond is a phenomenon where like you have this intense emotional attachment with someone. It's like it's an off and on relationship. You know,
Mm,
you there's good and there's bad. Sometimes there's more bad than more good, especially what I don't like. I've never dated before, at least not yet. But what I've heard is I don't like when people break up when they know when you're breaking up with someone. Of course, when you're first doing it, you know that it's the right call, it's the right decision.
yeah.
But once you're apart, especially after being in a long-term relationship, but the moment you've learned that they've moved on, and it's like you took that person for granted. Why
Mm,
did I do this? Why did I dump him or her? Any of y'all been there? Any of y'all been there?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
All right.
and that's why what I want to emphasize too is what I've heard is as soon as you know that the red flags are there,
Right.
the earlier you know that whether or not this relationship is gonna work out, the
Right.
better. And you just say, like, you know, you're such a lovely person. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed getting to meet you, but without going into extreme detail, after careful, after much thought, I just don't believe this relationship is it's gonna be the right fit. It's not gonna work out. I wish you well,
Yeah.
and so on.
Thank
Did
you.
I say it right?
Yes. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sailor. And I think Thomas is next, and we'll go ahead and get Thomas, and then we're gonna kind of go over some red flags. I want to hear some red flags. Let's get some red flags examples, okay? Thomas, go ahead.
I absolutely would date myself. Uh,
Ah, yeah,
I let's see. I am very kind. I'm very compassionate. Um, I do my very best to be at least deliberately respectful. I know I make mistakes,
right. Nobody's
but
perfect.
nobody's perfect. There's a difference. I have good boundaries. If you don't tell me what the boundary is, I'm not gonna know it. So,
Yeah.
you know, but I like to cook, so I would happily feed myself. I would happily feed my girlfriend. I would make her coffee. You know,
Nice.
I like
Okay. Go
myself.
ahead, Thomas. Go ahead. All right. Thank you for sharing.
On that note, this is
Excited.
Ted.
I'm
Hang
sorry.
on, Ted.
Hold on, Ted.
We got
Cynthia,
a
go
hand
ahead.
raised for Christina before you.
Yes. Can I go after Christina if she's the only hand raised?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, Christina.
Okay, so I'm gonna go opposite from any of you here, and I'm gonna be honest with myself on today and say that out of all of the qualities that I do know that I have at this time, I would actually say I would not date myself right now.
Ah,
And that's out of true honesty because I do understand from what I'm looking for in a man, I would hope he wants me to be on those qualities. And so there are some things that I need to get in line before I expect that from him as well.
nice.
So
I
yeah.
love it. Thank you. All right. Uh, Cynthia?
Yes, I was gonna say what Christina said. For contrast of the other people except Christina, I would not date me.
Mm,
At
mhm.
this time, it's not a good time in my life for me. I'll just give a couple examples because I know we're getting short on time, and that's one of them. my
Your
time is too
yeah.
devoted to other things. I feel like I'm in the trenches raising very small children. I've got a full-time job. I'm a single mother. And I just feel like I can't give the kind of time that I know I would want from a partner.
Nice.
I would
Yeah.
want that time, and I know I can't give it, and I'll just leave it at that one for right now. But
Yeah.
that's one of the major reasons why at this time I wouldn't date Cynthia, even though Cynthia is wonderful.
Right. Yeah,
But Cynthia doesn't have enough time to, put in the work that it
because
takes
it
to
is
grow a
work.
relationship, to
Yes.
nourish a relationship.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank
Cynthia
you,
is
Cynthia.
wonderful.
Thank you. All right. We had Ted. Was that Ted?
So with what Thomas just said, I would date myself, but if I had to go out to eat with myself, I'd end up starving, because where he said he could feed himself and feed his girlfriend, I couldn't feed myself. That's why I live in a nursing home. So I would end up starving because I couldn't feed myself.
Oh no!
I
Stop
just
it,
had to make
Ted.
a joke out of
Yeah,
that.
I know your
but
joke.
so,
Stop it,
so,
Ted.
but would I date myself? Yes, I've got the personality for it.
Yeah.
I am strong-willed, and I do have a kind, caring heart, and obviously humorous.
Yeah.
But it also has to be a very special individual to understand the special needs and
Yeah.
the total care that I require on a
Yeah.
daily living basis.
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing that I love about this, right? It's self-awareness. We have to be self-aware. We have to know that we're dateable or not dateable, right? And thank you for those that are,
And
not.
know your own
Yeah.
needs.
Know what
Right.
you, yeah.
And Ted,
Yeah.
I appreciate your candor because
Yeah.
you've got a very more unique situation. It's not just the vision loss, and
That's
I
right.
appreciate
Because
you sharing.
for those that don't
Oh.
know, not only am I totally blind, but I am in a wheelchair. I have amputations to all of my
Yeah.
fingers at varying lengths, and I do live in a nursing home, and I require pretty much everything. I cannot dress or bathe myself. I can't shave. I cannot even brush my hair.
Yeah.
There's very little that I can do on my own. I can hold this phone, and if anybody's ever seen me at iBug when we used to be in person, I use my nose and face to operate the phone, and then I've got switches and of course JAWS to operate my computer. Aside from that, there's not a whole lot I can do independently.
Yeah.
So it would
Thank
take a
you.
very special person.
Yeah.
But you
Thank
got
you for
that
that.
can-do spirit. So.
Yes,
And
sir. That's
and
right.
he does, and he has more outings than I do. I tell you that. He's always doing something, right? So
Just follow me on Facebook and you'll see it.
right, exactly. So thank you so much for your vulnerability and sharing
This is
that.
Tarman again. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm on this tablet and I can't find the raise your hand button, so I'm sorry
Okay,
to keep
go ahead.
interrupting.
That's okay.
But no, I was gonna say, because I gotta go in a second, but I think when I look at dating as well, you have to look at three different categories: standards, expectations, and deal breakers. Standards are what you expect for you, as far as what you want in a person. Expectations are what you expect out of the other person to treat you. And then deal breakers have to be non-negotiable. So for me, I don't care if she look like Beyonce and Rihanna put together. If she smokes cigarettes, I can't do it. That's a deal breaker immediately.
Right. Absolutely.
So
And holding yourself accountable too, though, right?
holding
Because you say that, but that doesn't mean that
and
when
don't
you
compromise.
see, right, you see she looks like Beyonce, so now, oh, she smokes, oh, it's okay. I guess I can deal with it this time, right? No, you have to stay firm to what your beliefs are and what your values are.
For your own happiness.
Yeah.
For your own happiness. And the last thing I was going to say before I go is, you just have to, I'll just reiterate, you just have to believe in yourself, and there's somebody out there for everybody.
For everybody.
You just have to be patient. And as young people say, don't be thirsty.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. I agree. Thank you so much.
And have fun. Dating should be fun. You shouldn't,
Absolutely.
Right.
stress out about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The last thing I was going to ask is anybody going to be at the conference next week?
Austin.
In
Austin, yeah,
Austin.
correct.
Yeah, there's probably quite a few.
Is there
We'll
a
be there.
do you
Yeah.
guys have like
I'll
a
be there Friday to Monday.
Yeah,
do you
some
guys have
people
like a
will be.
meetup group or something? I'm not on Facebook, but is
There's a
there?
WhatsApp group if you have WhatsApp.
I
Excuse
do
me, I
have
can't
WhatsApp.
raise my hand. I don't know. I can't find where to raise my hand.
Okay, go. Okay, so you
What?
could go ahead. We can hear you.
Oh, I was just gonna ask, what's the WhatsApp information for
I'm
the?
not sure.
I have the link. If you want me to, I can send it to Ron.
And he
Or you
can
can
send
just
it.
put it in
Has
the
it on.
email. Whoever sent me the
Yeah.
email can send
Okay.
it to me in the email.
Yeah, we can
But
definitely do that.
I really enjoyed this, and I appreciate you guys' time
No
and effort
problem.
in putting this
Thank
together.
Well, thanks for
you.
joining us, Tarman.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
All
can
right.
anybody
So,
hear me? I think I'm
yes.
unmuted, but
Go
I
No,
can't raise my
you're
hand.
unmuted. And who is this?
My name is Linda.
Hey, Linda.
I'm older, I'm over I'm in my 70s. And when you ask would I date myself, well, I had to really think hard about it because I know more what I would expect from a potential mate. But I'm deafblind, and sometimes if I can't hear somebody, people talk loud enough where I think that they're yelling at me rather than in a way that I know some people that I'm close to, they might spell out what they say or something like that. And I have trouble hearing more than one person speaking at the same time, et cetera, et cetera. So with that said, sometimes I think, oh, well, I don't, I'd like to be able to have the confidence that I could date somebody. If I were dating myself and that other person that was like me had the same disability, maybe I would.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Linda.
Yes. So, all right, we'll just take a couple of seconds and we want to talk about, the identifying and noticing the red flags and when we see red flags are red flags, right? These are things that we can see, or no pun intended, we can see them, but in that other person. And for time's sake, we want to just kind of would you guys like to just kind of throw out some things that you guys consider red flags? Ron, is that okay? Just kind of throwing out some red flags. Does anybody want to throw out some red flags? Just what are red flags for you?
I don't like harsh tones of voice when people talk to me harshly.
Two.
Yep, that's a red.
Harsh
Okay,
tones.
that's your red.
That's very
yeah.
common for people not to like, and
Or
most
if
people don't like that.
get really close to you and just start talking really loud, like they
Yeah.
think you can't hear them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's okay.
Or for a parent who has kids, someone that
doesn't want kids. Red flag, right? Yeah.
I don't like when people try to manipulate you, like make you feel guilty or ashamed.
Yeah.
That's a red flag for me.
Nice.
I had a lady I was dating one time before I was married. Yes, I'll put that out there. Before I was married, and in the middle of the night, she was telling me she was all jealous, and there was nothing going on, and I'm like, that's not happening. And that was a recurring thing. I mean, middle of the night, I said, look, I've told you before, just grab your stuff, you can go, we're done. I couldn't take that. I'm not doing anything, and you'll never beat that jealousy, especially if you're not doing anything to spark it.
So jealousy, red flag, right?
I mean, that jealousy that's a tough one.
Controlling, that's a red flag to me. Controlling
absolutely.
behaviors, when you see those controlling.
Like extreme controlling, because
yeah,
sometimes you have to limit someone's freedom if they're doing something dangerous or safety, like don't do that. But you mean extreme forms of controlling?
Well, that's not controlling. If somebody is looking out for my safety, that's not controlling. Controlling is you can't go out with your friends. Controlling is you cannot wear that. Controlling is you don't use that word. You can't talk like that. Controlling is you can't go to your family's house for the weekend. That's controlling behavior, right?
Yeah.
That's people trying to isolate.
That's the foundation of abuse right there.
So I was saying, you should go to sleep now. you just feel
Yeah,
tired. It's
it's
not like that.
yeah.
I mean, it's not like that.
Controlling can also come less aggressive like that. It can actually be in the form of a person pretending, well, not just pretending, but they're making you think that they're doing things out of the purpose of trying to help you, like, hey, I'm your support, let me do that for you, let me do. And then eventually they're trying to get you to be so dependent on them
Yes.
that you start to
Yeah.
think that you can't be
Yeah.
without them.
So it starts with what Cynthia said, right? Manipulation.
Yeah.
Right? Then that kind of transform into the controlling. Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like
So
to add something to the control comment.
mm-hmm.
I'm adding this only because of, I spoke of a young lady I've been talking to on the other end of the planet. And people also need to be aware of the difference between controlling and cultural differences depending on where they live in the world.
That's true.
And
Well,
so,
yeah, I agree.
and I know that that in certain Muslim nations, whether it be North Africa or Middle East or whatever, the men can come across as quite controlling over their women, but that is a cultural difference that they have versus what we have in the Western hemisphere in America and in Canada.
That's so true, and but it is cultural, right? And I know in Japan, it's like that too. Women are not expected to speak. They have to, in what we look at is controlling is standard for them in those countries.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree,
So
and
just
that's
keep that in mind. Not that we agree with it necessarily,
right,
or
but
disagree
that's
with
their
it,
culture, right?
but
That's
it's
so
something
true.
that they understand that we may not necessarily understand here.
That's a good point. Thank you. Yeah.
I've been learning things like that with speaking to this young lady. So
yeah, nice. Yeah, that's a good point. All right.
Aaron has raised his hand.
I want you to remember this, and this is something to remember for the rest of your life, right? It is something to remember, a good skill. Just because something is in someone's culture does not make it objectively right, as philosophers that believe in moral absolutism say. Like, just because something is part of a culture doesn't make it objectively right.
Well,
That's what my belief is.
So it's not right for us, right? But if two people are from that culture and that's the way they live, and they both are, in agreement with it, that's how. Who are we to?
And in some cases, that's all they know.
You should have done critical thinking, I think.
Well, I mean, that's a culture.
You need critical thinking to do
that's a whole different type of thing.
But when it comes down to dating, we have to know what's right for us.
Yeah, individually, ourselves, right?
We've got one more hand raised,
All
Thomas,
right.
and then we're going to get into your final segment there, Victoria.
Yeah.
Oh, do I have a part? Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
you do.
Go. Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, go ahead, Thomas.
Okay. This is Thomas. One of the biggest red flags to me is people who all they want to do is complain.
Ooh, good one.
Nothing is right. And this isn't just in the, this
Good
is,
one.
it's like you come over to my house and you complain about my house looks, or you complain about this, or you complain about that.
Yeah.
And I get honest, legitimate criticism. There is a big difference between, hey Thomas, I think you could do this better, that better, whatever. But if all you want to do is bellyache and cavort and be negative,
Right. Yeah, good point. Thank you, Thomas.
I would have a caveat for that. If
Yeah.
you'll solution, I'll listen. But if all you're gonna do is bellyache and complain, that's it.
All right. Yes, thank you.
Norman says it's a deal breaker for you.
Yeah, awesome. So, all right, guys. So, as Ron mentioned, so the last segment was just me sharing with all of you a support group for blind and visually impaired singles, right? So, this is a support group that I will be facilitating, and it is called Visionary Hearts, and it meets monthly, every fourth Saturday of the month from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it is a space for BVI singles to come together and share their experiences, kind of encourage and empower and uplift one another, because this is, this is a journey that we're all going through, and it's a tough journey, but it's a lot of it is so, because I know for myself, often I feel so alone, right? And it's so therapeutic to me to have others that can relate to what I'm going through and the situations, and so many things that we go through are automatically understood by us that are going through those. So yeah, that is an invitation for all of you to join that support group if you guys would like. And I believe we will be sending it out in our follow-up email, the link for additional information and how to join. So
It's on Zoom.
I'm sorry, what?
It's on Zoom.
It will be on Zoom. It is a virtual support group. Yes.
Awesome. I can't wait because I'm
nice.
I'm 33 years old and I've really never dated before, and I never will. It's over for me.
All right. Well, and then we can also, so for those that have never dated, we got some seasoned daters that are out there. Sailor, it might be able to give you a little advice on dating and things of that nature too. So, we're happy to have you. So
there will be a follow-up email, and you will get the link for this. So.
Yes. All right. So with that being said, unfortunately, we don't have time for more questions. And again, you guys, these workshops go by so quick. I know it's something that we could go on and on all day long, right? But time's sake. So again, there's other places that we can continue these conversations, but thank you guys so much for attending. And we do have a door prize that we're going to give out.
Naomi,
right? Yes.
I need a number between 2 and 57.
2 and 57?
57. Looking at my spreadsheet. What is it?
57.
57. 57.
Last person that registered. Who gets the last person that registered prize?
Nessa Killingsworth, are you here?
Oh.
Maybe.
She's not here, and I knew she was the last person that registered.
Yep, she sure was.
All right, you want to do another number?
Give me another one.
Okay, let's try 27.
Hang on. Me. Hang on.
He's got to go all the way back to the top now,
Francis
right?
Durham.
Francis Durham. Is Francis in here?
Francis here?
No.
All right.
All right. I'll throw a number out. How about 17?
17.
That's my favorite number, by the way.
Antrell Lewis.
Any Vantrell?
No.
Naomi, pick another
wrote me
one.
an email.
35.
35.
You guys have a lot of chances for those of you that are still in here. Look at that.
No, I know Nicole Findley's not here.
She's not here. Okay.
Ingrid, I'll pick one. 15.
15.
Okay, go 15.
Denise Howard. Boy, y'all are hitting names I hadn't seen.
Denise Howard here.
I never heard that name.
All right, Candace, pick a number.
Pick a number?
Yes.
Between 2 and 57.
29.
Okay, got a 29. Ron's all over the place. Sorry, Ron, we just got you jumping all around, right?
Tarman just missed it. He left.
Oh, dang.
Oh, my
That's
freaking
sad. Okay. All right. Another number. I'm gonna pick. I don't know how old I am, but I liked when I turned 50. So let's pick 50.
50.
50. That was a good year for me. I went to Puerto Rico for that birthday.
Damn. Angelo DeSamarco. Angelo's not here, is he?
Okay, my turn. Number 3.
All right.
3. Go to the top, Ron.
3. Nadia Alfred.
Nadia.
Hadn't seen Nadia.
Jeez, Louis, this is the first time we had to do this. All right. Okay, how about
Let's go fishing.
Let me go.
How about 7?
Unbelievable.
Hey, Ted Galanos, are you still
Ted,
here?
is he still here?
Yay.
Wait, he might have left. Hold on, because he was leaving.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Just pick from the list of the people that's here.
Let me pick one. 12.
All right, 12. Go 12.
12.
Cynthia has joined the meeting.
Hi, Cynthia.
No, Chelsea Wynn's not here.
Yes, I am here. I was trying to unmute.
Oh, Ted is
there's
here.
Ted.
There
Ted's still here. Okay, we have a winner.
Finally,
Chicken dinner.
goodness. We've
Winner,
never,
winner,
that's
chicken
never
dinner.
happened to us
Ted,
before.
I will get with you on your gift card.
Okay.
You do Amazon? If
Yes,
not,
sir.
okay. I'll get with you on that
Awesome.
because I know you have several emails. So.
Yeah, congratulations, Ted, and thank you guys all so
Thank
much.
you.
Congratulations, Ted. It took a while to get to you, but you
Yeah,
won.
right. Yeah. So
Thank you. I appreciate
you
it.
guys, and be looking out for the follow-up email. And thank you guys so much for spending your Saturday afternoon with us.
We appreciate y'all being here because we know you have a choice on what you do with your time.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Thank y'all. And
Thank
you,
you.
Victoria. Thank you, Naomi. And I hope you found
Thank
your
you,
glasses.
everybody.
Yes,
I really
thank
enjoyed
you.
it.
Thank you, Sailor. Thank y'all.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
HAVIN, bringing unity to the community.